Sox are just over 2.5 weeks away from where it all begins.
As in sync as any pair in the game, and it's not just because of
in camp. Now the Blue Jays loaned him a pitching machine for his receiving and ramping up much like the others. He's in the cages, he's taking batting practice into game action, he told me, and guys, that's what exactly is going to happen.
Are coming your way next. If you would have checked the weather forecast heading into this, I don't know. Valdez, Cedon Rafael is another youngster in the lineup. Veteran.
He feels pretty good right now, especially for the middle of March. He touched.
Who's going 1 through 9? Red Sox. Had some big time pop last year. Hit 28 homes, a 296 average. Mentioned the home runs, 107 RBI.
Left-handed batters making him aware.
Ball towards Kiermaier and straightaway center. One down.
This afternoon, Elvis Martinez at third. Bichette and Merrifield are in sync.
First game activity for our sequence, even though he reported to camp a couple of weeks later than what he had planned.
And for him to be back behind that pitch ahead, thinking of your pitch sequences, and they are very in tune
with the Red Sox over the last year. High ball, a guy that usually sees a ton on the ground.
To do is be comfortable and focus on executing pitches on the pitcher. He is going to have the ability to succeed.
Up the left field line, foul.
Voting and in the running for it, he's all.
Justin Verlander, just in front of Manoah, Dylan Cease.
Mechanically, then he can continue to start ramping things up.
Ties up Polka. Blue Jay skipper Alek Manoah in conversation with Pete Bichette and Alejandro Kirk, again making his first game activity.
Year-old left-hander Chris Murphy gets the start, coming up from Fort Myers, where the Reds were reduced. He'll be 90-9.
Merrifield drives one towards center, drifting over. Nice round of applause for Bo Bichette. He's led the AL in Blue Jay history and back-to-back seasons in his field. Crook drifts back to the wall, gives it a look, and it.
Bo, Ben, and he takes this slider that's hanging up in the.
2 years ago set a franchise record for home runs by a short ball. Him going the opposite way with home runs. That was absolutely cranked. Catching live BPs, doing a lot of cage work.
Very good knowledge of the strike zone. And when
one out, a 1-0 lead for the Blue Jays as Brandon Belt bats. That surgically repaired knee. Belt's not rushing. His regular ABs starting this week. Spring training the last 3 years.
Returning to the form.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
They'll have that move, but then they'll come up.
3-2 coming in. Another walk-ish. Blue Jays camp has been pretty much injury information, no structural damage.
Just try to get through each and every day, keeping guys
here. No manager wants to see any trainer.
No, keep it to yourself.
Ball to strike on Kevin. Kiermaier was so excited about an opportunity. Acquired Dalton Varsho for left field, and they're going to have George Springer play a lot.
Everybody could see that there is a good outfielders playing behind Blue Jays pitching, and I'm sure the pitchers are very good. Of course, Varsho brings them.
Chopper towards first. Polka did not.
And this is exactly what speed. But in the umpire's judgment, Kevin was in his rights.
Had a monster season in the. Hits it well out to left on the line. Crook.
A little bit of what this Blue Jays lineup can be. It's a very good lineup for opposing pitchers.
Elvis Martinez, and out of the right side, Kirk is in to score. Right behind him, twin, longtime Tiger, Nico Goodrum leads off the second for the Red Sox.
After the changeup, coming up and in with the setup.
Wanted to go down and in. What's the primary focus in spring training? Started with the slow seamer. How's he going to work it against the
non-verbal cues between the pitcher and
a base hit?
Difficult. So he's still trying to come up with that game plan.
Today for Boston. Manoah.
It's a big sweeping slider from Manoah, and against left-hand. Very good in that department, one of the best in baseball. And I think for set on receiving pitches and trying to, there are a lot of ways that you can get that count leverage is that you will sacrifice ones that can help you win a ball game.
The Blue Jays are really fortunate with Danny Jansen and Alejandro.
Long ways with his receiving as well.
3-2 on Steven Scott. Just outside.
It's a new metric, and every pitch is assigned a probability pitch. But when you see that list,
fly ball up the left field line. That with this metric, it went Rutschman. Danny Jansen was first back in the 2020.
Not only the pitches on the edge of the zone, you want to make sure that the
Narciso Crook battling line and drops it foul.
Post pitch. That's why across the game now we're seeing more and more of the
catch a strike to benefit your pitcher inning. Little weak ground ball to Nunez.
The glove goes down and he's pulling it up. If it's to either side, Alejandro has improved dramatically in this department. And subtly in toward the strike zone.
Runners at second and third for Boston. There he picked 20th pitch here in the second. He tied up Hamilton. The turn of the rotation, pitch counts usually target
48 against him. See if you can put him away here.
Uses the.
He said, "This is when I get after it as well."
Came over in a trade from Manoah behind.
Alec wasn't happy with it, so he stayed. Little move to help his pitcher right there.
Good bounce back. Deepen their brotherhood.
Understand a pitch and a pitch in advance.
We got to live it live with him when he was on the mound in the All-Star game.
But just missed the zone according to the home plate.
Bases loaded. This is the 19-year. Lays off the slider.
Able to gain a little ground to his right.
Open space through the right side. The Red Sox will take
his hands, but it's a good swing by a young hitter to stay inside that baseball.
Pin because the inning pitch allotment for Alek Manoah had been reached. Inherits runners. Chopper on the right side. Pass. That'll drive home the go-ahead run. Was
season he was down for a couple of days last week.
The pound of cure. Two balls and no strikes. Even the count.
Good movement.
Struck him out.
To stay a little bit closed this spring. That way.
Jr. had George Springer, Bo Bichette. How do you?
And I think what Hazel is referring there to get jammed. Hitters are always afraid to get jammed. You do anything you can to get that you're staying back and through the baseball a little better. That will help you.
And continuing to polish what is great potential for Aurelvis Martinez.
Than I was at his age, and that's saying a lot.
I'm a guy with a lot of pop.
Nunez with a chopper up the middle. Valdez handles it.
Those skills getting better.
In his spring training starts, he's looking to drop a base hit, but the speed of Blaze set when you get back to the dugout because you're going to come right back.
It's a concern health-wise if the pitcher gets throwing too many pitches out there at one time.
Leading off the inning. Strike.
Well, it's good to see him face these left-handed bats.
Nico Goodrum started the 3-run route.
Four-seamer way that he likes, but then also mixing in that change.
Or more. Now we have a timing violation.
Down a little bit in frustration, but you can see the pitch commies.
With the rules being instituted, you had to get out there. You had to really go after it. 4 weeks, everybody becomes comfortable. Manoah steps off, flips it back.
I think he wants to step off and make a better throw right there. And oftentimes the pitcher will. Alec is so tough. Your ear if you're a right-handed hitter.
Has multiple.
In his words, gets down the mound, and that's deception is critical.
Chopper to Martinez from third, whips it across. Avs have their work cut out for them tonight against the Avs, while the Sabre. Blue Jays action today. The sharp comebacker Murphy handles his position and Alejandro Kirk.
Alejandro has such a quiet.
I look at the batter and I see the two.
He forgot his glove the other day. How do you forget your glove?
4-pitch.
Blade maybe just grabbed the wrong helmet in there.
Opening day starts and he left health issues with his knee. But even when he was going home, I mean, he fresh of air for him.
It certainly is. And if you're the fresh air in a new country, and it's a new ballpark for him too.
Talk about long 8 years with the Rays.
Walk in the park, seeing the Dodgers and
hello, don't forget about us. Yeah. That's poked to left by Kiermaier. Everybody moves up. Not.
You get Aurelvis locked in to maybe tee off on one.
He took a big rip. You've got Aurelvis Martinez. So you won't miss a minute of the action. Takes over. Lefty on left.
Not close to that first breaking ball. Maybe he sits on one. Better hitters are going to be looking spin.
For Barger. In by Blaze. Barger ends up at third. Continued to truck all the way to the warning third. This is Nathan Lucas. With the Tampa Bay runners coming home. High throw. Barger is out.
You are gone. See him getting that secondary lead. Good jump. He did. You can't, quote, block the plate anymore, but your leg is. It's the power in his bat, too.
Staff this offseason. Positioning around first base. Nunez is another power hitting prospect for the Black, and hopefully then the transition. His entire life never really thought about Hilton. Skies one out to right field, circled by Nathan Lucas. It was a spring training ball game last year. Sogard wrapped it around the corner.
A backdoor slider. I think he was trying to catch a corner. Right.
Here's Miguel Blaze.
Lineups that he is going to face in April, because we know he's an emotional
towards opening day. Bullpen this spring, number 3 1/3. It has basically the same profile as Hernandez, the runner from down at 2-2.
Don't you?
2-2, swing and a miss. And
it's pitching. What's the matchup? Is it a tough guy on the mound? 90 feet. That's when you might take a gamble. But the scoreboard, the 4 bats in the lineup that our tough pitchers work.
Rob Brantley is 2 for. Pulls a single into right field.
It's going to be very difficult. Forcing.
Richie chops the double play ball. The pivot and on to Marcus Wilson, the first to face Mesa.
Pitch. So he's trying to change it just a bit. There it is right there.
The splits were very true. Yeah, he locks up Wilson. He'll go down looking today. Eden steps back.
Throw it a whole lot because he was not comfortable with the pitch, but he's hit 300 against him with that fastball.
Eden has catch with Cam Eden leading it off. First toss by the right-hander, sails to the backstop. Know what part of the sun Alek Manoah is from. My goodness, it's a warm, muggy day here. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cam Eden. The come down can meet their heroes.
That's a great shot right there. We love to see those.
3-2 to Eden. Challenged at a couple of levels last year. Vinny Capper spent most of the season shortstop, third base, and the outfield. Versatility hitter. So there was some feeling out phases last spring and then Jays, but the way that he is able to hit line drives to right center field and do it with good
some great character in a lot of minor league ballparks, and certainly well, it's quite the comparison.
The Montreal Expos uniform, by the way, had the 27 on it. A violation on the pitch timer. 3-1. Straightaway center, handled on the line.
Zach is another one that it makes you wonder, predictable. Like that.
The 1-2 gets a strikeout. He's got back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th. Beltre, the play it short, had to make it quick.
You look at on the mound and starting pitching, and that name Chris Sale means an awful lot because they just have not. So that's a tough one. They went out and got Corey Q, the rotation, and of course all kinds of issues in the bullpen.
Issues with the sun.
Garrett Whitlock as well. But this team, the year that they did, Schwarber came over at the deadline. So a lot of good things. Hunter Renfroe hit 31 home runs back then. Blue Jays fans remember him beating and allowed them to make that run. But they have had issues all around the mound, both starting and in that bullpen at least.
That's cracked up the left field line foul.
JD Martinez is gone as well. They did lock up Rafael Devers. Red Sox in Boston, I'm sure, but back then, and again, not tops in the league by any means, but at least good enough to keep you in games with the offense that they have. Sheeta will be the big sign. $90 million by all accounts.
Kenny Beltre. Projected to be in the Double-A rotation.
That's arms in camp, and that we keep seeing that we may see before the end of this season.
There might be a path